We'll wait a few minutes here. Ted should be signing on shortly. Nice. Hello, everyone. Just wait a couple more minutes here. If you all haven't heard already or seen the email, hello, Ted. We sent out another
Hello.
new news bulletin. So in early July, there'll be two HAC brown bags on the 2nd and the 7th, I think. And those are going to be facilitated by the Hawaii Aquaculture Aquaponics Association. Are going to kind of give an overview of their strategic plan and goals and that kind of stuff. So look out for those. Um, yeah, I think it's time to start. So morning, everybody. My name's Kai Fox, and we also have Dr. Ted Radovich here. We're gonna we're gonna co-present this talk on GoFish, a program that's been in development for about 6 years now. You want to start, Ted?
No, I'm gonna let you go ahead, Kai, but I'll just say aloha to everybody. Alyssa's here as well. And she's played a major role in getting us kind of up to speed on some of our assessments and things like that. Um, but Kai has been instrumental in developing this, and so I'll let you take lead, Kai, and I can chime in as needed.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Alyssa, just to put you on the spot, I might ask you to also expand a little bit, real fast, guy, if you don't mind. I appreciate it. Okay, so Go Fish Hawaii is a program which is a collaboration between the Sea Grant program, Hawaii Sea Grant, and the Land Grant, which is CTAR. We'll talk a little bit about that. Okay, so just as a visual, right? This collaboration, we sort of merged Sea Grant, CTAR, and CTAR's existing program, Go Farm, has been super instrumental. We consider ourselves a sister program to Go Fish, and the concept of it really came about, really pushed it over the edge for Ted and I in the beginning to make this a reality was a lot of interest from Go Farm. in possibly integrating aquaculture or some kind of integrated aquatic farming into their existing operations. So as the name implies, or suggests, right, GoFish it's similar to GoFarm. So that's kind of how the whole thing started. These are the sort of the founding folks of this program. We have Janelle, Eric, and Pomai from GoFarm, who again have already established quite a very successful beginning farmer training program for terrestrial farmers. Ted also, who is has been instrumental in the whole process in helping to bring that program to fruition, even from the beginning days of getting the original grant and helping with integrating it with the great extension network that CTAR already has. So working, helping these farmers succeed by directly working with extension agents and specialists like himself. And then coming from the more aquaculture side, I've been working with Ted on aquaponics, and just a colleague of his for quite a long time, maybe like 15, 16 years now at least. And we've always wanted to do something like this. And so this is really, really lucky to be able to for so long now. And then Alyssa joined us this year. She has brought much needed rigor to our curriculum, and also just a vast knowledge base about aquaponics and teaching aquaponics and trying to integrate it. Alyssa, you want to jump in real quick?
Yeah, sure. I just want to say hi, everyone. Thanks for coming today. I actually joined because I thought it was a card game. Kidding. I wanted to help out. Kai had asked if I could do some online curriculum, so I built the modules and the testing for all of the different components of GoFish, so we could get a better idea of what the students are actually learning in the process. So happy to be here.
Yeah, we're stoked to have you. And so yeah, and this actually brings in another campus, right? This is Lever Community College, and we're hoping to do more workshops in collaboration with all of these folks. Ted, maybe I'll ask you to handle this slide if you don't mind, since you've been
Sure.
with them.
Yeah, we wanted to put this in because again, GoFarm, the name of our program, GoFish, is derived from GoFarm. Again, because there was so much interest in incorporating the fish side and aquaponics into the terrestrial agriculture. GoFarm has been around for also for a real long time, 2011, I believe, something like that. Very successful, certainly an outstanding beginning farmer training program. Designed really, a cooperative extension has always worked with farmers and folks who already know how to farm and need help with solving problems, incorporating new methods, things like that. But we have seen, certainly since the 2008 financial crisis, lots of people wanting to get back or get into farming and get outside. Now, obviously, a lot of those folks have romantic visions of agriculture. GoFarm was designed in a modular method to kind of beat the romance out of them. And then the folks that survived, moved through to receive training in commercial ag production, including agribusiness. They've been very successful in doing that, and there's a number of great success stories, individual farmers and groups and couples who have really done outstanding work. And so GoFarm, in working with GoFarm, GoFish was created to serve that clientele. And, we feel like we're that's been a great partnership.
Thanks, Ted. So originally, the very first GoFish Hawaii cohort was actually started sort of peak COVID, started in November of 2020, and we went through the beginning of 21. At the time, we of course had to practice social social distancing and all those COVID protocols. So we made it hybrid, a hybrid class, some virtual, some Zoom, some videos, and we did manage to figure out the face-to-face stuff as well. We targeted current or recent alum Go Farm participants for just for right out of the gates, we wanted to have really driven, really already kind of successful people that are familiar with these kinds of programs and were motivated. So definitely focused on Go Farm. And it was a series of 5 workshops, and we charged $50 for all 5, and that included a water quality test kit that they were taught how to use, and then they were able to take it home. Really, again, the focus was on folks that hopefully already had some knowledge of aquaponics and wanted to then kind of take it to the next level. So sort of middle, experienced person who, in best case scenario, would then take it to some kind of commercial scale, starting with small scale, maybe get into it a little bigger, maybe integrate it, like we said, into whatever farm, whatever terrestrial kind of operation they already have. So right here's a list of the topics we generally discussed. But in that first cohort, these are exactly what we discussed, and then we've modified this slightly over the years. And again, with the addition of Alyssa, we've been able to dig down much deeper into some of these details. But essentially, we start the class off with a panel discussion of existing commercial growers, and so we have a good relationship with a number of commercial growers. They're happy to come, and it's been both in person and also virtual, but we've been able to have the participants interact in a panel discussion format with commercial growers, kind of talk about challenges and opportunities. We go over basic system design. We show them existing small and sort of medium scale systems that we have at the Waimanalo Research Station. And then we just talk about general system design, fish management, water quality. And then we switch to a focus on the plants in aquaponics. Variety trials, what works, what doesn't. And we finish the class with we have a contribution from Go Farm, usually Eric Shimizu, who helps us, very similar to how he does with Go Farmers, pencil it out. Look at what is the current kind of market for aquaponics, how trying to plan it out, business plans, that kind of stuff. This is a picture of our first cohort. As you can see, socially distanced in front of the classroom at the Waimanalo Research Station. Couple of slides on that. That was Ruth Ellen Klinger-Bowen in the previous picture. She helped us with fish physiology, dissection, some disease workshops, and then this is Jensen Ueda talking about some of the integrated decoupled work he's done with Chinese catfish at Po'omoho. So a wide breadth of experts coming in to talk story. Ted, you mind jumping in on the next one?
Sure. Water quality. There's a number of hands-on activities. We have 2 approaches. Well, in our first iteration, we only had the classroom sessions once a month, and we did our best to incorporate hands-on activities every time, because that's how a lot of people learn. This is an image of the water quality test. I think this is pH we're doing here. I'm not sure if Kai can talk, but the cup and the straw was there to show changes in pH, etc. So we did our best to incorporate hands-on learning throughout the classroom experience, and as you'll see in later slides, we realized we needed more room for that hands-on. Did you want me to cover anything else, Kai?
Yeah, maybe for example.
Oh, this is probably the one you were talking about, right?
Yeah, sorry.
So we do want to make sure, and a lot of these guys are starting as plant producers and are interested in aquaculture. So we in addition to the substantial fish expertise that Kai and now Alyssa share with the students, we try to incorporate some plant culture too, although it's easier on the plant side because most of them already have experience. And these are plants. I'm working with Ava right here and showing them how to propagate Ava, which is fairly easy in aquaponics. This is an earlier year here where we're harvesting Ava, where we cut it all back. One of the nice things about aquaponics is that harvesting the Ava is much easier and cleaning the roots are much easier. And that's the case for most root crops, although there are challenges with some root crops. So you can see us doing that here, harvesting the Ava. Ava is a high value crop. For small systems like ours, you can only have so many, but there's modifications we've been working on for our aquaponic Ava production. And then you can see everybody's processing the cuttings here to make more, propagate. You can see small plants there that we had produced earlier, and now we're doing larger scale propagation so they can see that. There's lots of potential benefits of aquaponic systems, not just as strictly food production, but these beds can really support the operations of small scale farms by serving as nursery beds and other things. And so your product doesn't have to be lettuce. They could be potted, Ava plants, and your margin may actually be quite a bit higher on some of these specialty products rather than just growing a leafy green, for example. So there's a lot of options, and those are roots. I just processed some aquaponic Ava last night. Those are the lateral roots. That's one of the real upside in this particular case for Ava in aquaponics. You can see the cinder in there, but it's so much easier to harvest those lateral roots, which locally are quite prized as being more potent than the stump, although there's different traditions throughout the Pacific. It's so much easier to get those lateral roots. I'll turn it to you, man. This is yours.
Okay.
Wait,
So,
Foxlapia, everybody.
no,
Foxlapia.
Yeah, no, we're working on some different cultivars. We have about basically 3 Oreochromis hybrid species that we've sort of maintained for a number of years now, and we've been able to keep these strains going. Actually, when Windward Community College shut their program down during their renovations, we held their animals, and then we were actually able to restock their supply at when they were ready to come back up again. So we've done a lot of holding and really been pretty strict about our biosecurity, trying to keep these animals as much disease free as possible. And I think we've been really successful with that, luckily. And so now, as part of GoFish, we of course we go over fish physiology. How to sex tilapia, how to set up a harem to maximize production of juveniles. And recently we've started to pay a little bit more attention to things like growth rate and coloration. This is a new hybrid that our GoFish folks helped develop. Nice body conformation, nice color, good for the market. So we go through about all of that stuff and how to explain how, what is desirable in the market and how do you get there. This was another workshop where we had done a Chinese catfish spawning workshop. So we did dry fertilization of the Clarius fuscus, the Asian catfish. These are some of the participants building part of the nursery that would hold the eggs after spawning. So we go through that kind of stuff. We also go through more in depth if there's issues or things that need to be built. We try to involve the GoFish cohort as much as possible. All the participants, cutting PVC, gluing PVC, designing covers. Our first GoFish cohort designed the covers that are still being used at the Waikulua local IA for their tanks there. So there's been a little bit of cross-pollination with other groups. But getting down and dirty, these are things that you would only learn on a farm. And so these participants are able to get these experiences before they, so they can really make an informed decision about whether they want to actually jump in or not. But again, setting up float valves for automatic water irrigation, timers, filters, pumps, all of that kind of stuff. We try to go over as much as possible with the participants and have them involved. Another aspect to all of this work currently is actually are related to our the new Aquaculture animal care protocol requirements for holding vertebrate animals, including fish, now requires remote sensing. So we've purchased and deployed a number of remote sensors throughout the farm to stay in compliance with Aquaculture. And that's another sort of touch point with the participants now. They're learning exactly what we used, how we used it in our situation, the costs, the man hours involved, and just kind of stressing the point, like if you get to a certain size of a farm, you probably want to invest in something like remote sensing. So it's just another part of the education program now. Ted, you mind doing this one?
Yeah, sure. So the evaluations are important to us. We did a bunch of different early on we wanted to really kind of fine tune things. And so we one of the questions we asked beyond just like how awesome was it, was what are you looking for? And most people said more hands-on. So we included a practicum portion. And I think one of the things that we say that we had a larger proportion in our second cohort after we addressed some of the comments made in the first cohort. Probably most prominent was the inclusion of a monthly hands-on practicum that didn't come with a lecture. It just came out with problem solving, and weekly activities for folks who could come weekly to engage with what's happening. And we saw that reflected in the evaluations, in the second cohort. So we kept moving forward, and we've continued to really be self-aware of the program and look at the evaluations and also talk to industry members. We've gotten feedback from folks in the industry who've engaged with our students. And we realized we wanted to continue to improve, including we didn't have much assessment throughout the program. And that's where Alyssa, with her program at Leeward, has really helped us out a lot. And we have not done a recent assessment of our subsequent cohorts. We will do that after, but I know for a fact that we've improved the rigor of our program with Alyssa joining us. So improvement and self-assessment or programmatic assessment has really been a fundamental part of what we've been trying to do as well.
Yeah. And thanks, Ted. And yeah, and this is just kind of a summary of what Ted was just talking about. Generally, this has been positive, really positive for our participants. And just like Ted said, yeah, the hands-on component, or practicum is what we call it, is by far I think maybe not by far, but it's definitely appreciated. So just to this is almost the end here, just to talk about what the practicum is in a little more detail. Like Ted said, we ask a commitment of some hours, per week, where the graduates of the cohort actually have to come back to Waimanalo Research Station and do some husbandry, help feed the fish, do water quality stuff, and then once a month on a Sunday we meet. We've been doing this since the beginning, since the first cohort, as a group, whoever can make it, and we dive deeper into some kind of a special project. And that is the talk today. So if there's any questions, please, Ted, myself, and Alyssa are here.
If I can add one thing, this most recent fourth cohort has been easier on us because we've had support from student help and supply support funded from CTSA. So we wanna acknowledge and mahalo CTSA for their funding. They provided 25,000 this year and 25,000 for the second year, and so we're very appreciative for the second year of funding, which would be cohort 5. So we definitely want to acknowledge those folks.
Thanks, Ted. Anybody have any questions?
I have one question. Any good examples of those that have participated in the cohorts and what they've gone on to do or made use of skills doing particular things?
Yeah, well, go ahead, Ted.
No, no, it's a good question. I'll let you go. I'm dealing with a phone call right now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, well, I would say that it was around the same time GoFish was starting, but one of our largest Chinese catfish growers, Elko Evans, is basically the only supplier of catfish on Oahu right now, learned basically cut his teeth at this facility where we were teaching students. So he's definitely a commercial grower. He practices sort of integrated farming, like we've been talking about, using Chinese catfish effluent to irrigate in-ground crops. And then we've had several folks go on to some of our members are DOE teachers, so they've gone on to really improve their systems and come back and actually we've been able to adopt fish out to them to start their systems. We also, several of our other participants have built smaller things on their farms, like maybe an IBC tote of tilapia, just to play around with it, to try it. One of the challenges with some of these remote farm locations obviously is power, so trying to deal with that, but not many big efforts yet, but definitely people using the knowledge and skills they learn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, really nice. It's the first time I see these pictures. Really interesting. Reminds me the training we did on best aquaculture practices down in Mexico some years ago. And that's something I wanted to ask because when we did that training, we have workshops all over the place, and we always have a document like a manual or something that we use as a base to teach or to show all the farmers. So it's kind of a standard document that is used across all units or whoever is doing this. And I don't know for this program, or maybe it's part of the objective, but if not, I will suggest that will be because that was really, really useful to have one unique document that everyone will just adhere and follow. So anyway, so just the question, if that's something that is part of what you're planning or how that works.
I don't think we were more just kind of focused, I think, on just developing these curriculum to address the topics that we went through, but that's a great idea. Do you have access to a copy of the one you're talking about? Or do you have any?
Yeah. Well, I can. They're in Spanish, but yeah, just to give you an idea how that works, we make for tilapia, catfish, trout, and carp. So it's, just as a suggestion. It doesn't need to be very extensive, but as I said, and that document actually could be developed. So you start with something and you are improving it every time. Yeah, sure. I will share all that I have.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea to have that sort of unifying document for this. That's great.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So maybe when I saw that Sentinel, the monitoring system, I work with that, and at the farm at Paneva, we don't have Wi-Fi, unfortunately, available there. So is that something Do you manage without problems with the?
Yeah, and actually, so the system that we have, I mean, there's a bunch of similar sensophone systems. I think Windward Community College has one, a sensophone system. Tarek at the Magoon facility has a similar system, and um, so it is quite easy to manage once you get it up and running. And the one at Waimanalo actually is running off a Starlink. So, potentially you can get like a small Starlink. They have these mini Starlinks now that are mobile. Potentially you could do that, in a remote location because it works really well.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works in Oahu, but here it's kind of cell signal is not really reliable in some areas. Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is any way I can get some catfish from Oahu? Cool.
Yeah. We should talk about that maybe offline. I think well, no, just because it's complicated.
Yeah, sounds a little bit in the, I don't know, gray.
Yeah, that's something we have to discuss with with DLNR about that. But yeah, let's discuss. I think you can.
Cool.
Anybody have any more questions or comments, suggestions? Okay. Well, right on. Thanks everybody. And yep, we'll get this talk uploaded to our webpage, and appreciate you all coming. See you all next time. See you soon. Right on. Thank you. Aloha, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kai.